Imagine walking into the biggest, most high-stakes game of your life, and right before you step onto the field, the opposing coach he walks over and hands you their entire playbook.
Oh, wow. That would be quite the advantage.
Right. Like they show you every trick play, every defensive formation, and exactly how they plan to exploit your weaknesses. Welcome to the vpod.ai SAT Mastery Deep Dive. I'm your host, Mike, and joining me today is our expert guide, Susan.
Hey, everyone. It's great to be here.
So today we are diving into official documentation and study frameworks from the College Board and Khan Academy. We're looking at a platform that basically gives you that test maker's playbook for the digital SAT.
It really does. It completely reframes, the whole narrative around test prep, because the standard assumption is always that you have to go buy these massive, heavy prep books and just sacrifice your whole social life.
Yeah, just brute force your way to a better score.
Exactly. But the sources we're looking at today, they outline a system that is highly targeted, it's 100% free, and it is officially sanctioned, which, that fundamentally shifts how you should be spending your study time.
Absolutely. And just to ground you in where we are in our curriculum here, this builds directly on the foundation we set up in episode 4.
Right, the Bluebook setup.
Yeah, and that deep dive we walked through setting up the Bluebook app and taking your first full-length digital practice test to get a baseline score. So today is all about the crucial next step.
What to actually do with that score.
Exactly. How to build skills without totally burning out. So, okay, let's unpack this. We're moving from the testing environment in Bluebook into the prep environment on Khan Academy. And the biggest detail here is that this Khan Academy digital SAT course is built in direct partnership with the College Board.
Which is, what's fascinating here is that structural partnership is the linchpin of everything.
How so? Why is that targeted approach better than just, grabbing a random book at the bookstore?
Well, when you use generic prep materials, you're dealing with approximations, right? A third-party publisher is basically just trying to guess what the College Board might ask.
They're making a fake playbook.
Exactly. But on Khan Academy, you're engaging with materials vetted by the literal psychometricians who write the real test.
And let's talk about what a psychometrician actually does behind the scenes, because it's kind of wild. They don't just write a math problem and then throw 3 random wrong numbers underneath it.
No, definitely not.
They engineer these distractors using data. So if it's like a multi-step algebra problem, they know that a stressed student is probably going to forget to distribute a negative sign in step 2.
They calculate the exact incorrect result from that specific error, and then they put that number right there as option B.
Wow.
Yeah, it's designed to look correct so a rushing student feels, this false sense of security.
Which means by using the Khan Academy practice questions, you're skipping the trial and error phase.
Yeah.
You're learning to spot those specific psychological traps.
Right, you're seeing the anatomy of a distractor.
And this is so critical now because the test has evolved, right?
Yeah.
The documentation points out that the digital SAT is about 2 hours long now, and those terrible bubble sheets are gone.
A huge quality of life improvement. No more erasing stray pencil marks frantically.
Yeah, nobody misses that.
But there is a mathematical trade-off. Because the test is shorter, there are just fewer questions overall. So every single question carries more weight for your final score.
Oh, right. So less room for careless error.
Exactly. Targeted prep is more vital than ever.
But, having the opposing team's playbook is useless if you don't actually know which plays apply to your specific weaknesses.
Mm-hmm.
No one has the time to just memorize everything from scratch.
No, of course not. You need diagnostics.
Right. You need to pinpoint your individual starting line.
Yeah.
Which brings us to the integration between Bluebook and Khan Academy.
Yeah, this is where the tech really does the heavy lifting for you. So after you take that Bluebook practice test, the platform makes a scorecard in a section called My Practice. And right there on the scorecard is a button that says Practice on Khan Academy. When you click that, it does this API handshake between the platforms.
It just sends the data over.
Yep. It takes your raw test data and builds a totally custom curriculum for you.
That's incredible. I kind of look at it like going to a specialist for a targeted x-ray before you start physical therapy. If your x-ray clearly shows you have a sprained ankle, a doctor isn't going to, put a cast on your arm just to be safe.
That is the perfect analogy for how inefficient traditional studying is. Without that x-ray, a student might spend, 10 hours agonizing over geometry just because they feel anxious about shapes.
Right.
But their data might show they're already in the top percentile for geometry, but they're losing points on advanced algebraic graphing.
So this integration stops you from treating the healthy arm. It automatically creates a walkthrough course explaining the exact questions you missed and links to the specific skill modules you need to drill.
It's a closed feedback loop. You're not guessing anymore.
But wait, what if someone hasn't taken a full 2-hour Bluebook test yet? Like maybe they want a faster diagnostic or just a quick progress check.
Oh, Khan Academy has an internal tool for that called a course challenge.
A course challenge. Okay, how does that work?
It's right on the main page for both math and reading and writing. It's basically a condensed diagnostic test that takes maybe 30 to 45 minutes.
But how can a 30-minute test accurately diagnose a whole 2-hour curriculum?
Well, it uses algorithmic sampling.
Okay.
It pulls a carefully weighted selection of questions from every major skill. It doesn't need to ask you 10 punctuation questions to know if you get commas.
Oh, just ask like 2 really good ones.
Exactly. 2 highly calibrated questions. And based on how you do, it instantly highlights your knowledge gaps across the whole board. It gives you that targeted X-ray without the 2-hour commitment.
Okay, so once the X-ray shows us our weaknesses, how does Khan Academy actually treat the problem? The sources say the courses are broken down into really specific skills, not just broad chapters. And the main way they teach these is through short video walkthroughs, right? Mostly under 5 minutes.
That's right. An instructor taking you step by step through a problem.
See, I have to push back a little on this. I mean, what does this mean for the listener? Isn't just sitting there watching a math video basically passive learning, like mindlessly scrolling TikTok?
It is 100% passive if you treat it like entertainment. In cognitive psychology, we actually call this the illusion of competence.
Illusion of competence.
Yeah. When you watch an expert do something complicated smoothly, your brain just mirrors the logic, you're nodding along, it makes sense, and you falsely encode this feeling of mastery. You think, oh yeah, I know how to do that.
When really you only understood someone else doing it.
Precisely. You recognize the information, but you can't retrieve it on your own. So the absolute non-negotiable rule here, the way to make the platform work, is the pause button.
A pause button.
When the video puts the example question on the screen, you have to pause it immediately, before the instructor even talks. Grab scratch paper and try to solve the whole thing yourself.
Even if the diagnostic just told you this is your worst subject and you have no idea what you're looking at.
Especially then. The cognitive friction is the entire point. Staring at a problem you don't know, forcing your brain to search for a solution for even just 30 seconds. It primes your neural pathways.
It's like you're creating a gap that your brain wants to fill.
Exactly. So when you hit play and see the solution, your brain absorbs it dynamically. It physically changes how the memory encodes because you tried to retrieve it first.
That is so cool. So it turns a passive lecture into interactive guided practice. And then I'm assuming they test you on it.
Yes. Right after the video, you get short skill-specific quizzes. It forces you to independently get the correct answers to totally new questions, just to prove that illusion of competence is gone.
Okay, here's where it gets really interesting, though. You aren't just mastering a static topic. The SAT is going to stretch your abilities with really hard questions.
Absolutely.
And Khan Academy tackles this with a structured progression system. The sources say every skill has 3 difficulty levels: foundations, medium, and advanced. To me, this heavily mirrors video game design.
Oh, I like that comparison.
Right. Like, you don't boot up a brand new game, drop in the tutorial, and immediately fight the final boss. The cognitive load would be insane. You'd get frustrated and just quit the game.
Right, you have to master the core mechanics first. If we connect this to the bigger picture, you start at foundations to make sure the basic rules like exponent rules make logical sense. Then you move to medium to add complexity.
And eventually you tackle advanced.
Exactly, because half the battle on the SAP isn't even the academic stuff, it's the physiological panic.
When you see a really bizarre, dense question.
Yeah. Your brain triggers a stress response. Cortisol floods your system, which literally impairs your working memory. Your natural instinct is to just guess randomly to escape the discomfort.
So by leveling up slowly on Khan Academy, you're training your nervous system. You're building cognitive endurance so you don't panic on test day.
That's why the sources give this really counterintuitive advice. Even if your diagnostic says you got a perfect score on, say, linear equations, you still need to practice all 3 levels on Khan Academy.
Because the diagnostic maybe only gave you a medium-level linear equation.
Exactly. It didn't show you how the test makers will weaponize that concept at the advanced level. Practicing all tiers ensures your cognitive endurance is bulletproof.
Wow, okay, so we have this incredible tool. But let's get real for a second. Our listeners are busy high school students. They have extracurriculars, homework, and, they occasionally need to sleep.
A little bit of sleep, yeah.
So how do we fit this in without causing total burnout? This kind of builds on the study plan we talked about in episode 3.
It does. The big paradigm shift here is you have to abandon the weekend study marathon. It doesn't work. The official recommendation is a practice called micro-studying.
Which is like taking your daily vitamins instead of trying to eat like a month's worth of broccoli in one sitting.
I love that. Yes, your working memory is like a funnel. If you dump a gallon of water, like 4 hours of intense algebra into it all at once, most of it just spills over and is wasted.
So you drip it in slowly.
Right. You find tiny pockets of unused time, 10 minutes on the bus, a 15-minute study hall right after dinner. Because the videos are under 5 minutes, you can watch one, pause it, try the problem, and take a quick quiz in 15 minutes.
And doing that consistently is better than cramming.
Way better. It leverages spaced repetition. Doing it daily signals to your brain that this info is important for survival, so it consolidates those memories while you sleep.
But even with micro-studying, hitting those advanced questions is going to cause some fatigue. It's frustrating when you're getting things wrong.
It is. But the sources highlight a really fascinating psychological hack for this.
Oh, yeah. When you hit a wall, when you're just not getting it and you want to slam your laptop shut, you stop working on the hard concept. But you don't quit studying. You instantly navigate to a short quiz on a skill you have already mastered.
Wait, you deliberately go take an easy quiz?
Yes. It manipulates your neurology. When you get correct answers fast, your brain releases dopamine.
Oh, wow.
And dopamine is critical for motivation. When you fail a hard question, your dopamine drops and you feel tired. Getting a perfect score on an easy quiz artificially spikes your dopamine back up.
So it completely resets your frustration. It gives you the neurochemical momentum to go back and actually tackle the hard stuff again.
Exactly. You're managing your own psychology, not just your math skills, which, points to a much broader implication here.
What do you mean?
Well, all these mechanics, the API X-ray, the active retrieval, the level training, the dopamine hacks, they all serve the goal of a higher SAT score, sure. But what if the SAT isn't actually evaluating your innate ability to calculate a slope?
I mean, that's a provocative thought. What is it evaluating then? Consider what you're actually practicing. You're using a diagnostic to find a flaw. You're isolating a skill, engaging in friction-based practice, testing for mastery, and managing your emotional response to failure.
You're learning how to learn.
Exactly. It's a comprehensive system for self-regulated learning. The SAT is just the immediate arena. But mastering this feedback loop on Khan Academy, that's a universal blueprint.
It's the exact skill you need to survive a brutal college syllabus, or adapt to a new career, or just learn anything for the rest of your life.
The algebra is just the vehicle. The real prize is mastering your own intellectual growth.
That completely recontextualizes the whole thing. It gives so much purpose to those 15-minute study sessions on the bus. Like, your customized X-ray is waiting for you, the test maker's playbook is totally free, and now you know the psychology of how to use it.
You just have to press start.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. And to everyone listening, join us next time for episode 6, where we'll give you a complete reading and writing section overview. We're going to break down exactly what structural challenges to expect.
It's going to be a good one.
Definitely. But for now, as you open up Khan Academy, ask yourself, what is the very first weakness your algorithm is going to reveal? And how quickly can you master the process of fixing it? See you next time.